here we are again, okay, another man bringing out some misogynistic ways, but instead I want to focus on, there's a toxic way of using therapy speak in your relationship against your partner, manipulation. And so today we're going to get into Jonah Hill, all right? And so I'm going to blind react to some of these messages. So I'm going to give you my perspective as a therapist and also just as a person reading this and being like, girl, what is you doing? So sit back and let's get into it. So the main message that came out, so if you don't know, Jonah Hill is an actor. He's been dating this surfer. They broke up. And so over the weekend, she decided to release these messages about their relationship. And it broke the internet a little bit because we know Jonah Hill as charismatic, successful. He has some insecurities that I'm going to talk about. And it really makes you realize and see, I think, how women fall for these type of men and how that can lead to unhealthy relationships. So let's get into these first set of messages that she released. The main one that we all saw, I'm going to react to it. So this is the great bubble from him. It looks like he is setting his boundaries, rules for the relationship. So here it is, plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model. So modeling is her job. So am I supposed to quit my job? To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, that's part of my job. To post sexual pictures, come on now. Friendships with women who are in unstable places from your recent wild past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. So let's break down that last part. Friendships with women. So it's basically saying, before me, you were unstable. You had a wild past. But now that you met me, you need to have some self-respect. And it's your friends who are leading you down that path. And I don't want you to go back down that path again. So you need to cut them off. To me, this is a covert way of trying to isolate her from her friendships, trying to put her, this whole message puts her down. And just because I'm not in a place, just because my friends are not in the same place as me, why do I have to cut them off? This is way too controlling. Moving on. He then says, if you can't do this, I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you a place of happiness, I support it. And there are no hard feelings. Basically, you like it, I love it, girl. But it ain't for me. These are my boundaries for romantic relationships. No, these are your rules, okay? Don't look, these are not boundaries. These are rules, expectations. If you want to come over here with me, I'm up here, okay? And some of this, crabs in the barrel stuff you've been doing, you're going to have to let that go. That's what that basically is saying to me. My boundaries with you, based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. So me having a career, me loving my body, me doing my job, wearing a bathing suit has made you feel like I have lost trust and hurt you? Boy, bye. The misuse of the term boundaries, okay? See, now this makes me go back to, and I don't know if y'all remember, but last year, I believe he was going to release a documentary with his therapist. And that made me question. I was very curious about how this was all going to go down because there was a clear-cut, boundary between client and personal relationship. And so making a documentary about your therapist, how is that going to work? Because you're working hand in hand with your therapist. I guess still seeing them also. So to me at that point, I also knew he was a person who struggled with boundaries because ain't no way, for the most part, a therapist is going to let you create a documentary about them while you're still seeing them and having that therapeutic relationship. And now I want to say, I do get that sometimes celebrity relationships with their therapist are different than, say, regular people, lack of a better phrase, because I know there are therapists who offer concierge services where basically you can call them anytime, night or day, and they'll be there to pick up the phone. Now that is more costly. I actually, to be honest, thought about that when I was first going into private practice, is that something I ever want to do? But then I thought, boundaries. And would I really be able to have a life? Okay, because I would always be on call for a celebrity. What if I'm out with my kids and a celebrity calls me, my client, and they're in some kind of crisis? I'm supposed to drop what I'm doing because they're paying me, I don't know, thousands of dollars a month and just forget what I'm doing? See, that wasn't gonna work for me. And in this type of relationship, I wonder from a therapist perspective, what was it about him that there were red flags, but you still went into the relationship? Was there some self-esteem? I want to go back to the origins of your life, the beginning. What was your relationship like with your parents to lead you to this type of man? I also want to know, have you been in similar relationships in the past? Is this your first time in this type of relationship, or do you have a pattern of dating men who are more covert, manipulative, and insecure men? Now, we all know Jonah Hill has had his own insecurities about his body, his weight. His weight has gone up and down. And so for me, this clearly seems like a man who needs to have control in order to feel better about myself. And I also wonder about his past relationships. What have they been like? So those are some of my questions about, from both sides. Okay. What is it about where he is in his life that he needs to feel like he has to have control over a woman like this? And so let's move on to some more of these messages. Okay. So here's some more that Sarah released. So it says, and I asked him to make a list of his needs too, but I think his list ended up being like rules. Like I said, rules, not anything that he needed. The freedom to do his life himself, like his list of needs. It was not a list of needs. It was a list of expectations and rules for me. Yeah, like I said, when we ended it, it was because we could not agree on that. And when I stayed friends with him for the next 6 months, girl, why you stay friends with them? Why is it that when y'all break up with people, y'all gotta stay friends? And it looks like this did not end on good terms, but you still stay friends. Can y'all let me know in the comments, why do y'all stay friends with your exes? I understand you share a dog, you share kids. What gets complicated is when you date friends who are in a core group that you know you're still gonna hang out with. Why y'all do that to yourselves? Okay, so where was I? Stayed friends with him. He kept chalking up our breakup to us being in different places in life when that was BS. That's not the main reason it didn't work. So let me get this straight. Y'all break up. You stay friends with him. He still is kind of not taking accountability. In some ways, it kind of feels antagonizing. But you still stay friends with him? Okay. Not victim blame. These are just questions that I have, all right, as a person and as a therapist. So don't get at me in the comments. But if you got this far in the video, why haven't you subscribed? Okay. So looking at this last message that I'm going to read. So he kept me on a close emotional confidant after the breakup, sexting me in July of 2022. This is why you don't need to be friends with this person, because they obviously don't have boundaries. They don't respect you as a person. So I'm not victim blaming, but I can tell both sides don't have the best boundaries. Visited me at my apartment in my hometown in early August 2022, and then waited a week later after I moved to Hawaii for law school to send me a text being like, by the way, I'm in a new relationship. Now, this is very common, okay, that people, I don't know if she was hanging on to the relationship. I don't know if she was hoping that they would get back together, but I do see that people keep their exes around, not surface level, not cognitively or consciously to hope we get back together. Some people do, but I do see that. I wonder if it was why keep him around? He treated you like trash. Okay. And then there's more messages. Jonah can be seen asking if Sarah was around to catch up. For what? What we got to talk about? A text I dated August 30th then reads, I know I don't need to put in the spirit of pure respect to our friendship and appreciation for each other. I did not want to be transparent. I did not start dating anyone recently. Back and forth. he flip-flopping. I'm sorry if that is painful when it just happened. I didn't want to not be transparent with you, as I care about you. You don't care about me. You care about yourself. All these messages are all about I. The ego, the ego, the ego. Never asking her how she's doing, at least from the one she released, how you're doing, anything like that. It was just like a lot of manipulation. And it's interesting because I feel like I've seen some stuff saying Sarah was trying to get him canceled. So now the media is trying to spin it to where she's a bad person. Now, I don't think Jonah Hill is a bad person. I don't think Sarah is a bad person. I think they both have issues that they need to work on. And so him being behind, having a big machine behind him and these messages being released, I can see his team pushing a narrative through the media, paying publications to put out that she is a bad person, that she disrespected his boundaries and his trust by releasing these messages. And I've seen an article, I think it was like, I don't remember where it was, but there was an article saying that she disrespected him. Okay. Even the media at times feels like they are against female empowerment. And so I want to know, why do y'all stay in relationships that are not serving you? Even once you break up with the person, is it that you still want to be kind of close to them? What is it that keeps you in these relationships? But yeah, these are my blind reactions as a therapist. Some of them as a person. What do y'all think? Was this a clear violation of privacy? Could she possibly be sued for releasing these messages, or is it freedom of speech?